Well, video 2 in 2 Chronicles I've titled Inexperienced but Able to Win. See, we seem to think we need to know everything. We never will. We seem to think we need to be experienced in all areas. You never will. And that's why you bring a group of people around you that can strengthen your weaknesses and even encourage you in the strengths that you have. And in this particular section today, I want to talk about the King Josiah. You may or may not be aware, but he was 8 years old when he became king. And you go, wow, how could you actually rule a major nation with enemies coming against you? Well, the beauty of him was, he was open to learn and to grow, and he was open to what God wanted to do in the nation. And through this whole books that we've been looking at so far, we've heard about a lot of significant kings, names that we may be familiar with, like King David and Solomon. And we heard about kings who started well and also failed. But here was Josiah. And in chapters 34 and 35 of 2 Chronicles, it shows that he took the nation, total nation, not just his family and those around him, in total reform. So it can start with one person who has a desire, a passion, and a commitment to make it happen. And he led from start, and he finished well. And he's one of the few kings that actually did. So he was open, he listened, and he actioned. 3 key things: open, and we've got to be open all the time from start to finish, listening, and he actioned. Unless you do actions, nothing will happen. I've got people who draw up business plans, there's no actions in them, and they put them on the shelf and they just gather dust. You've got to action the things that you decided you need to do. And Josiah saw that the buck stopped with him. He wasn't trying to push it off into someone else or blame other people or form a committee. He said, this is what we're going to do. And I'm encouraged that he was so young and he did this. And I'm also encouraged today by young business people with a passion and a commitment and a willingness to learn. Only just recently I met with 2, and they were just really young, still at school, but have a passion and a commitment to start a business. Well, they actually started one, but to learn to be able to grow. They weren't out chasing or wasting their time on so many peripheral things. Yes, they enjoyed life, but they're actually reading and they're listening and they're open and they want to talk because they want to grow this business. And, at any age of life, we need to be like this. Are you like this at your current stage of life? We get to a certain stage and say, well, I've worked to this age, 40 might be, now I can settle back. I don't see any settling back. Yes, you've got to work out how you enjoy life and appreciate the things around you and your family and hobbies and so on. But once we say we're not going to work harder, we're not going to do any more, we're taking our eyes off the ball, and suddenly our business, our church starts to go backwards. What we build is a team around us that will help us. And he built a team. He listened to the prophet. He got him to get out the scrolls, and they read them and seen what God was saying to the nation. And he went about a total reform, re-looked at everything from top to bottom. And I'm challenging people, and you will have seen this in previous videos, that maybe in your business or your church, you've got to say, let's take everything off the table, called zero-based planning or zero-based marketing, if it's related to that, and say, where do we want to go? Where do we believe God wants us to go? So how do we now put a plan together with actions that's going to head us in that direction and start to move? It's not about adding a bit more to the budget to do more this year. It's saying, are we doing things that are really unsatisfactory, not producing anything, creating conflict, not growing, and therefore we're static or we're going backwards, but we don't know why. And this is a good time, as any time of the year is, to look at where you're going, what you're doing, and involve other people, and do what Josiah did. He took the nation into total reform and went forward and had huge success.